Good morning and glad to have you back on a weekly program, Corporate Governance Platform, brought to you by the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN. I am Funmi Omoburi. The Institute is a member of the Corporate Secretaries International Association, CSIA, a Hong Kong-registered global organization dedicated to developing and growing the study and practice of secretaryship to improve professional standards, the quality of governance practice, and to improve organizational performance. Today on the program, we'll be looking at role of the company secretary in relation to effectiveness of the board and as the sounding board on corporate governance. Our guests this morning are seated in the studio. Our main speaker for the day is Ms. Folake Adewusi, FCIS, Chartered Secretary, Lawyer, and Notary Public. Good morning, Ms. Adewusi.
Thank you for me. Good morning.
All right, good to have you on the program this morning. We also have right here our regular Mr. Kaide Ketefe, FCIS, Head of Research, ICSAN. Good morning, Mr. Ketefe.
Good morning, Fumi. All our listeners, good morning and seasonal greeting to you all.
All right, season's greetings. We're counting down to Christmas. That's really a great one. All right, before we'll go ahead into the discourse this morning, let's take this message. We'll be right back. Stay.
Hey, Obinna, good to see you. You look so worried. Is everything all right? I'm having serious issues in my company. Balancing the interests of my company's many stakeholders like shareholders, management, customers, financiers, government, and communities giving us a problem. That has to do with corporate governance. Exactly. Then you need to get in touch with ICSAN. ICSAN? Yeah, Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN. They provide you with seasoned and top-ranking professionals trained to uphold the standards of corporate governance and efficient operations. You can also get in touch with ICSAN if you want to become a Chartered Secretary and Administrator. Contact ICSAN by visiting the website www.icsan.org or call 009 06 601 69. ICSAN, the hub of governance professionals.
All right, Corporate Governance Platform. And today, like I said earlier, we're looking at the role of the company secretary in relation to effectiveness of the board and as the sounding board on corporate governance. Ms. Adewusi, let's look at roles a company secretary plays in an organization.
Okay, so the company secretary is really the compliance lead and the business, integrator who ensures that the board has the necessary guidance it needs to be able to run the affairs of the company.
Okay, now, what are some of the roles stipulated for the company secretary under the code?
Yeah, so the company secretary is to guide the board in performing its duties, the company secretary is to induct new directors, and is also to help the board to implement its board plans, help the board, the chairman and the MD CEO to implement the board plan. So it performs, a lot of strategic role, and it's really the advisor to the board.
Okay, now, reference are often made to the company secretary's role in functional and administrative capacity. Okay, so let's try to, I know you've mentioned some of those roles. Is it possible to probably define these roles, divide them via the lines of functional and then administrative roles? Is it possible to do that?
Yes. So the functional role is really about the substantive role, the advisory role of the company secretary, ensuring that new directors and even the existing ones do not run foul of the law in whatever stairs they are given to the company and all that. Then the administrative role is more of like, paperwork tasks like planning board meetings, making sure that the notices of meetings are sent on time, minutes of meetings are prepared, filing updates to directors and all those company papers at CAC, and filing resolutions and all that. But even in the resolution, as simple as it looks, sometimes it requires the functional role of the company secretary, because before the resolution is set out, in that very simple form and paper, she actually has to explain to the board, give them the background of, of the whole, of what led to the resolution, so that they can make an informed view. So there's a lot of strategy involved in presenting the proposal for the resolution to the board, and then the eventual resolution itself is more of like the paperwork, just put it in the simple form without putting all the details and file it as CAC. Thank you.
Okay, now why is the company secretary often referred to as the sounding board on corporate governance?
Yeah, because the company secretary is the compliance lead, is the one who ensures that the corporate governance policies are adhered to, and is really like the advisor. So that's why they're calling him or her a sounding board. A lot of times the board members are not so certain about certain gray areas of the law, and they just run to the company secretary, especially when the person happens to be a lawyer, to give them guidance.
Okay. Now the court says a company secretary should be a person with relevant qualifications and competence necessary to effectively discharge the duties of his office. Let's look at some of these qualifications being referred to here.
Yeah, so, the Companies and Allied Matters Act, which, popularly known as CAMA, actually lists the qualities for a public company, but they're not compulsory for a private company. All the CAMA requires for a private company is that the company secretary should have the requisite skills. But for public company, it actually specifies that the person should be a member of the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, or a lawyer or an accountant. So that actually provides guidance for even private companies and even small companies, that it's good to have this sort of people so that you're sure that you have the requisite support for the board functions.
Why is there a difference in requirements for public and private companies?
Because for public companies, eyes are really on them, really. A lot of times their own share capital is much more than private companies. A lot of money has been put in by a lot of investors and all that. So the eyes of the law are more focused on it to make sure that things don't go well, make sure that things go well all the time. So essentially, a company secretary should have, legal capacity and financial literacy, because those are the main things that, the board has to deal with.
Okay. Now, the code also provides that subject to the provisions of extant laws, the appointment and removal of the company secretary should be a matter for the board. Why do we have this kind of provision? Why is it necessary?
Yeah, because CAMA, that's the Companies and Allied Matters Act, actually has provisions for removal of secretary, and it requires the secretary to be heard before he or she is removed. So the code is really just keeping with that overarching requirement of CAMA, to hear the other side. So that's why it says ensure that you comply with extant laws before you remove the company secretary.
Okay, Mr. Katafe, let me come over to you. Will you say ICSAN training empowers company secretaries to discharge their responsibilities effectively?
Thank you very much for that question. I will answer in the affirmative. ICSAN is the only statutory professional institute in Nigeria that is established to train people as professional company secretaries, which we call chartered secretaries. Anybody that has undergone our training, that is ICSAN professional training, is well equipped with capabilities and intellectual resources to function effectively as secretaries in any organization or institution anywhere in the world. Many of our products are already occupying responsible position in PLCs, private corporations, as well as the public sector. So to be an expert in corporate secretarial practice, ICSAN qualification is the best anybody can acquire.
Now, you suggest Nigeria should emulate a country like India, where only chartered secretaries are eligible to practice as company secretaries?
Similarly, I will answer this one in the affirmative as well.
Okay.
When you look at India today, they are one of the most advanced countries in corporate secretarial practice and governance. This is because they allow only the professionals to take charge. In Nigeria, our law provides that 3 categories of professionals will be company secretaries. These are charter secretaries, lawyers and chartered accountants. But in India, where they have learned to put a round peg in a round hole, only chartered secretaries are allowed to be company secretaries. It is tried, though that lawyers and accountants are highly knowledgeable professionals in their spheres of practice. Okay. But when it comes to chartered secretaryship profession, chartered secretaries are the only professional trained to perform the duties of company secretaries. And so we will always support the idea that Nigeria should emulate India on this point.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Ketefe. Do we have any announcements for the day?
Just one announcement. The announcement is on June 2021 exam examination. This is to remind our students and other interested stakeholders that the registration for June 2021 exam professional examination has started. So come and register now and start preparing for your examination. Before you know it, June 2021 is here. Besides, you can also register as a student and later register for any direct examination at your convenient time. Registration as a student is always ongoing. For more information on issues relating to examination and registration as a student, please call this number 080-90-660-169. I take it again, 080-90-660-169. Thank you and have a pleasant day.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Ketefe. Mr. Lucy, you want to say something?
Yeah, I was going to add that being whether Nigeria should adopt the Indian style and all that, because even the chartered secretaries, ICSAN, it actually allows any graduates. So it's not specific for any particular graduate. Even lawyers and accountants are part of ICSAN, and it's just about providing structure and making sure they have all the requisite knowledge to be able to perform their roles. So it just integrates everyone, all professionals, into the body.
All right, great. Thank you so much for that addition there. All right, that's this morning on Corporate Governance Platform, brought to you by the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN. Okay, you want us...
I just want to add that the CAMA 2020 has just come into force.
So force, okay.
But I will recommend that if this law is being reviewed in future. So our recommendation here can just be inserted, by making charter secretaries the only professionals that could practice as company secretaries.
Okay.
When you look at the entire world, in countries where there is this limitation, where it's not just any professional is not just allowed, they are always advanced in terms of governance. India is a shining example to the world. Okay. So whenever CAMA is being reviewed in future, it's a point
that they need to
that should be taken to consideration.
Thank you so much. Thank you, our guest, Ms. Falake Adewusi, FCIS, Chartered Secretary, Lawyer, and Notary Public. It's been wonderful having you on the program this morning. And Mr. Kayode Ketefe, FCIS, Head of Research, ICSAN.
It's always my pleasure to be here.
All right, and that's it this morning on Corporate Governance Platform, brought to you by the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN. The program returns next week, Wednesday, 10:15 a.m. Right, and Equator 9.7 FM. I am Funmi Omoburiu. Enjoy the rest of the day.